Good evening. Thank you for joining SA Soccer Pre-Game show. Tonight, game is going to be San Antonio FC versus FC Tulsa. The game will be at Toyota Field at 8 p.m. No fans allowed still for that here. Joining us tonight is going to be Royce. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing all right. Was the fifth match in 14 days. I'm getting tired. I can only imagine how the players feel. So, go
Our
boys.
coach Rafa, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing well. And we have some guests tonight from the land of Oklahoma, from the Scissortail Nation podcast. We have Brian and Bo. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Yeah, thanks so much for having us on today. It's a pleasure to be joining you guys doing the pregame show. Thank you.
Yeah, really excited for this. Thank you.
So just to kind of get started, there is one news that broke since the last time that we had a show on SA Soccer Roundtable here. And I guess this will be a question more for Royce and Rafa. San Antonio mutually released Jesus Chuy Enriquez and Preston Tabort Itaka. I think they had around 60 minutes total between the two of them, with the majority of them being Chuy and RGV in the first half. Thoughts on why they were released? Good, bad, indifferent. We'll start with Royce.
Man, I think they're looking for a better opportunity. They're still young to get more playing time. Chewy has played 3 matches and Preston has only played 2.
2, yeah.
And it seems like Preston's was the 4th in line behind Bailone, Solniak, and Dorenzo as a forward, and then Chewy seemed like he was 3rd in line behind Gallegos and Pirano in that number 10 playmaker role, and then Torres, the 16-year-old, subbed in for Gallegos instead of Chewy, which Chewy didn't even make the 18. He hasn't made the 18 in a couple days or a couple matches prior. And I think they want to find a more consistent opportunity to prove themselves. Obviously, as a player, you only have so long to prove yourself. And I feel like they didn't feel like they got enough opportunity. And so, hope them all the best. Good dudes. Really cool to hang out with. Just one of those things. It's a business,
Rafa, your thoughts on it?
Just you're going piggyback a little bit on Royce. We just had too many forwards. Like I said, Team Argentina, try to leapfrog, get into the starting to.
Sorry to interrupt, Rafa, but isn't it weird? A San Antonio FC team with too much depth. Weird. Yeah. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have because we didn't have that problem last year. So
we haven't had that problem since 2017, and that was our playoff run.
So. That run, yeah. So I mean. Yeah, he's a good player. He's got speed, but it was just too much traffic up front to get into the crack at least the starting lineup, more or less. Get into the rotation. Chewy, on the other hand, I'm kind of, disbelief on that one. I think we should have kept him. He brings a little experience and some depth because you never, Pirano's been hurt in the past, and you can never know. He's been kind of beat up, a couple of last few games. Now they're targeting also Gallegos too. I think it was a mistake letting him go, but I understand playing time's important. Unless there's some type of discipline reasons why they let them go over team rules or something, But I just wish them the best. Just don't go to Austin. Go to the Eastern Conference. You can do some damage over there, but not over here.
Don't follow the footsteps of. Don't follow in the footsteps of many other players before you, including I'm not going to name them, but there's a lot.
Yeah, the ones in Austin, yeah.
Correct.
Well, I think for me, I could see Chewy going back to RGV. And I know it's got to go through the Dynamo, but I think he left on better terms than, let's say, Charlie Ward did. That came over here and didn't work out. Preston, I'm not sure where he goes. I wonder if he'd go back to, I think he came from Colorado Springs.
From Vegas.
Vegas. I wonder if he'd go back to Vegas, for that, because they could definitely use some help. Right.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't think Chewy would go back to RGV just because it seems like so many players feel much maligned from their time there of just no opportunities, and they came to San Antonio for an opportunity. Can you get one here? I think he's going to look for greener pastures elsewhere. And honestly, I hate to say it, but OKC Energy, they could really use some attackers because they are looking ungood. Let's go with ungood. You know.
So
do you think they may let him go to maybe get a third keeper? Because we are kind of thin there as far as experience.
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, well, maybe not a third keeper, maybe a second keeper, but it right now is going to be really tough to find depth. And then you got to quarantine somebody. And 2020 is happening, and it's all weird, and these are weird conversations. But I don't think that would be a terrible idea. Obviously, we haven't seen Mercado. We can't watch training. We can't see what the kid looks like, so that may be a good thing, but we'll see.
So we're going to move on to a little bit to some midweek action here, just kind of quick recaps here. Brian and Bo, Tulsa tied Austin 2-2. Your guys' quick thoughts on that, as far as on your guys' games and how that sets up, for San Antonio as far as just, wear and tear, any changes in lineups from there here on your guys' side?
I think go ahead, Bo.
I was going to say not too many changes. I guess Marlon kind of got busted up a little bit in that game, but not sure if he'll start or not. But I think overall just the game itself was pretty like chippy a little bit, got chippy really fast. And I think the ref was kind of lenient towards some of the fouls, but overall, I mean, it was fun to watch.
Yeah, the ref being lenient to Austin's side was it was so apparent that my 7-year-old sitting next to me in the stand said, "Why is he only using the whistle against them?" So it, but then we moved on. Refs. Yeah, definitely.
Not to interrupt, but the very first match that San Antonio FC played at Austin Bold, for an example, they got a retroactive red card from that. Bold did, and we ended up losing 1-0, and that should have happened like in the 30th minute,
something like that.
So we know, we feel your pain.
All right.
So, and then Royce and Rafa, San Antonio took care of business against Brian and Bo's favorite team, the Energy. They beat them 4-0. So what kind of worked, didn't work, or, and I know it's kind of hard to say what didn't work in a 4-0 win, but we'll start with you, Rafa. What's your feedback on that 4-0 win?
Finally happy that finally they started playing the wings. I got tired of playing everything in the middle. We finally spread them out, played a lot better touches on the ball. Some great goals, even though the first one should have been a Pirano goal for number 200, but like I said,
you're a little bit sour on that because you had Pirano for it.
Yeah, actually I had predicted Gallegos would get 200, but actually I said one of the forwards would get 200, so I was okay with that. So, but it was a good game. Like I said, our defense did great. They kept Energy from really getting any chances. The Beard came through again, some good saves, and like I said, we're just looking forward for tonight's game. So, it was a good win for Wednesday night.
Your thoughts, Royce?
They looked great again, didn't they? I really expected OKC Energy to bunker back, and instead they really try a high press, and we tore that up. It was unexpected. Like I said, I really thought they were going to sit back and just do that thing that RGV did to us to steal a point, and no, they came out, and to their honor, they pressed. Even their lineup didn't look like they had their best forwards out, but they really tried. They went for it, and it didn't go well for them.
Yeah, so for me, there was 4 different goal scorers through here. But I think the big takeaway from the game, and it's been all over San Antonio FC, USL Championship webpage, Leo Torres, coming all the way up from the academy, from the first, was it U12 team all the way to the first team here. I think we've kind of seen the torch go from Ethan Bryant to Jose Gallegos to now Leo Torres. So, Rafa, we'll start with you as far as, especially where you have that academy background. How special is that, not only for San Antonio FC as an organization, but more important for Leo Torres as the player and the young man, and for him and his family.
It's a good step up for him, you know, to play on the first team. I think that's anybody's dream to play on the first team, whether USL, Premier, La Liga, MLS, and to do it at age 16, that's something special. So that's kudos to the SAFC Academy, to Nick Evans and the rest of the staff. They're starting to produce quality soccer players that are coming, into the first team, and they're becoming now the new stars. And I see a lot of great things for Leo. He's going to do great. I know you may not see him a lot too much. It was a good opportunity because we had the game in hand, and I think that's when we'll see him. And I'm sure for next year when we have like an Open Cup, you'll probably see more of him in those games and some of the scrimmages or friendlies. But the sky's the limit with him. He's gonna be, like I said, the next Ethan Bryant, Jose Gallegos, and we're just who knows who's next. We're still pumping more of those young players from that academy. We'll see how well they do actually in the new season coming up.
Royce, your thoughts?
Sorry, I'm trying to do some show research. Caught me. No, it's exciting. How many different goal scorers we have, and it's kind of a thing that San Antonio FC's kind of not necessarily, well, I guess been known for is we've had a lot of goal scorers every season. There hasn't just been the one tally maker or talisman, excuse me. There's always been a widespread, but this year especially, a lot of guys scoring a lot of goals. And Leo Torres is, it's exciting. Obviously with Ethan coming up, Gallegos showing out this season, and now you have Leo, the next guy in the pipeline, getting some playing time and looking like he belonged. Made a couple really nice moves there. It's exciting. It's exciting as a fan. It's exciting as a season ticket holder that the investment looks like it's paying off, and I'm really excited about the future.
So, and here's a question for Brian and Bo. And I don't know if you can or can't answer this. For Tulsa, I know you guys have new ownership last year. There's been talks of a stadium probably a few years down the road. What about an academy? What does that look like for you guys up there, to where obviously Oklahoma has talent in it as well? How is that being nurtured up there?
So far, what I've noticed with just getting used to the team is that it's really connected in Tulsa. Like Encian is from Tulsa. He coached Brad Bourgeois. So I think overall they have that young talent within the city through Tulsa Athletics. They have that development side. And then I think Kieran Winters, he's not officially on the roster, but I guess he is kind of our young guy, 18 years old, I believe. He's coming through the ranks, and he's so far one of our best products coming up.
Anything from you, Brian?
I think that just Michael Encian being from here, right, already having the connections, it's not, at least in anything I've seen, not too often do you get the head coach of the pro soccer team from that city, born and raised. He went to high school here. I think he even went to college here. So there's a lot of sort of strings he can pull with already connections that I've noticed even from other people I know that say yeah, he's really digging deep to get the talent from around here to kind of come up through that USL Academy system.
So it's getting around the top of the hour. So let's turn to tonight's main event, which is the preview of it here. Now, I don't know if you guys have listened to the Scissortail podcast. So there is some things that we do have to kind of touch base with here first before we get in too far.
You're gonna bring it up, aren't you, Harry?
I am gonna bring it up, of course. I gave you the warning. I said it's coming. It's coming. So they did a good recap on the 0-0 game up in Tulsa. However, there's a couple of comments that kind of raised the ire a little bit, and they even mentioned, "Hey, this is probably going to upset you." Upset me in the podcast here, but they initially said that they thought that Tulsa kind of caught SA by surprise instead of sitting back, because I think most teams have set back against us. I think that's probably a fair point for that here. But the other two that kind of said here, that kind of crossed the line maybe a little bit. They said SAFC should be afraid of Tulsa, and that Tulsa punched SA in the mouth. I personally didn't see it coming from our side here. I'm just saying.
So,
Brian,
Rafa, Royce,
one.
did you see that? You think SAFC should be scared of Tulsa? I'm thinking maybe it should be the other way. Because
wait, Rafa, I don't mean to interrupt you on your guys' own show, but can I at least like sort of talk about why I said that? I don't think that the side judge had the offside flag up on me for saying that, because if you knew where it was coming from on our end, it was more along the lines of, I think that let's use the Sacramento Republic game as an example, right? Tulsa wins. They played defensively, right? There was some attacking on the counter, but it was focused on the counter. And our goal there, I think, was just get this group of guys together, right? Because we had a huge change out of the roster coming into this year with the rebrand. And it just allowed us to sort of establish ourselves as like, hey, our defensive third is one of the best parts of this team. And Sean Lewis, we'll see what happens, 8 weeks from now. But I actually think he might be in contention for kind of goaltender of the year, or even player of the year, if he keeps up in the pipes like he is now. But so I think that's what I meant. And first of all, it wouldn't be the first time my words have gotten me in trouble by getting a little ahead of myself. But I wasn't saying that.
You are. It's okay.
Yeah, no,
own it.
I am owning it. I am owning it for a fact that yes, I do think we came out and we said, you know what, we're not going to just wait for you guys to mess up for the counter. We've got some offensive weapons. We've got a pretty solid midfield, and we've got Ariel Martinez, who is going to just glide right through that line if he gets a good line in season. So that's what I meant, and that's the premise of it. So Rafa, if you want to, go ahead and chew me up a little bit, that's totally fine.
But I don't remember when we did our pre-game, and me and Harry talked about it. We knew it was going to be a tight game, and plus we're also missing our main ingredient, Pirano.
Yeah,
so
I did expect that.
That in itself, could that change the game? I think maybe, but we were surprised that they did go on the attack, because most teams that we've seen have just sat, bunker down. So I know going to in this game, are they going to come with the same mentality coming here to San Antonio? Are you going to come attack us, or are you going to sit back, try to get a point? I think in this situation, they're going to have to come after us, but we're going to be fully loaded now with one of our main playmakers. So it's like I said, it's going to be a great game today.
So if you notice too, after our game against you guys, what did Austin Bold do? They sort of said, hey, you know what? Let's come at you. Let's get Billy Forbes up front. Let's get the ball in front. Tulsa has shown us a little bit of an ingredient, not for success, because we didn't win that game either, but an ingredient to sort of, I don't know, spice up the sauce a little bit, right? Don't play defense, play offense, and see how San Antonio handles it.
Yeah, that game we came out flat. I think a long road trip, 3 games in a row. Up and down.
It takes a toll.
Yeah, it takes a toll on you. No, I've been through that. So.
And your chin hurt a little bit from our punch, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Not too. Probably for the fireworks.
I think my biggest takeaway from that game was the defenses from both teams are stout, but both teams offensively missed chances, and I know each goaltender had a couple of good saves in it. But I think it was one of those games where I think both teams walked away happy with a point, but also a little bit upset that they couldn't finish the job and get the win here, which, I think social media, Twitter, that I'm mainly on, and is, was, for a 0-0 game, you think, hey, not a lot of action that was in it, but in that game it was back and forth, especially the second half, where there, where it was flowing from one side to the other side. And unfortunately, neither team could finish. And I think part of that has to do with the defenses from both teams for that here. Still waiting on lineups to come out here, which is a little bit shockingly here. Normally they're out within the first 5 minutes of in full kind of thought there on that, if Salignac was a half a step more onside a couple of those plays on the Tulsa game, there were some breakaway chances that were called offsides. One of them might have even been kind of questionable, like, was he offsides? But so that I think, yeah.
And Pirano has a lot to do with that because he kind of finds those passes from what I've seen on those games, is putting them up there to him. So that if he's in this lineup today, which I expect him to be, I think that will be a full challenge for us.
Yeah, I think in that the first, I guess, round one, there was definitely some disconnect between Gallegos and Solniak. And if you look at the average positions, Bailone, Solniak, and Gallegos are all right on top of each other, trying to attack between the center backs, which is not necessarily normally what we do. Normally they're spread out wide, one's in zone 15, the other's in 14, the other's in 13, and then moving forward to kind of spread the defense. And then whenever the center backs go out to try to cover, somebody's always open in the middle. That's how Solniak got that goal. Was Gallegos went one way, center back went with him. Pirano went one way, center back went with him. Rebound comes off the keeper, and Solniak's all alone. Or Pirano going that way. Solniak's all alone to tap it in for the 200th goal, and that was against OKC. And that's something we've seen a lot, is spreading those center backs. And we didn't do that against Tulsa. Everybody stayed in the middle. And so, like you said, we got caught on that offside trap. Whether that was, some of them were questionable, others were. Offside is one of those touchy subjects that it's a worldwide thing. But yeah, we depended on trying to beat the offside trap instead of playing our game against Tulsa. And I think we're trying to keep everything central because Tulsa attacks centrally. Very rarely will they attack on the wings. They defend on the wings, but they don't attack. They attack straight forward. And like you said, Martinez likes to go just straight forward and just try to go through everybody. And that's just kind of where they are. So it'll be interesting for sure. A full strength SAFC. And we'll see what Tulsa can provide tonight.
So we're still waiting for the lineup here. So we'll ask this question to you, Rafa, here. Was this 5 games in 14 days? How do you see that affecting the game? Because we have to remember the last game, SAFC came off a pretty good, big win on the road against Oklahoma City. And then, against Tulsa, I wouldn't say they gave a poor performance, but, obviously Tulsa's, much better than Oklahoma City is this year, at least so far. For that, how do you see that impacting tonight's game?
As far as tonight's game, it shouldn't impact us too much because we had a blowout win on Wednesday, so we were able to freshen up some play. Like substitute players to get them all fresh for Saturday. Like I said, we got Pirano out, we got Gallegos out, so we were able to get our bench players to get, like I said, like Rio Torres to get in. So like for this game, like I said, we should be ready to go, focus, and not flat like we came out again in that Austin Bowl game. I think they learned their lesson Wednesday, not to take the game for granted, and they went out there, scored within 2 minutes, and made quick work of OKC. So today, like I said, they'll be ready to go. I think they'll be fresh and looking forward to to getting the 3 points today.
So, and like I said here, I don't think San Antonio is going to take this team lightly at all, because since 2018, San Antonio hasn't beat Tulsa. I know, as crazy as that seems, they've got 3 ties, and Tulsa's won each of the matches in Tulsa the last 2 years, which unfortunately for us, I think kept us out of the playoffs, because the last 2 years for Tulsa, when they were the Roughnecks, they would be, near the bottom of the stadium in the RGV territory, and but yet they would still be able to get the 3 points, especially up in Tulsa. So I think from that aspect, I think they're still going to go. I think that they've got their eyes on it. Plus, if you're looking at the standings, Tulsa to me is probably the clear number 2 team, just because the Bolts schedule gets really heavy for that here. And San Antonio. Oh, go ahead.
Lineups out. Oh, real quick, I managed to find a Tulsa Roughnecks San Antonio FC game match game poster right there. So that's fun. Lineups are out. As keeper, Cardoni, and then you got Maloney on the right, Yarrow, Gorski, Tainter, Smith, so the normal back line. Then you have Pizzi, Haraval, Pirano in the middle, Gallegos and Solniak up top. So this is 100% full strength.
The
Subs
same
are
lineup as
Mercado,
last week.
Lorenzo, Bailone, Torres, Vieira, Pertain, and Green. So full strength, yeah. And I guess we need a Brian or Bo, y'all want to fill in with the Tulsa lineup? I'm sure theirs is out.
Theirs isn't out yet. I keep refreshing on it.
Yeah, same. I keep refreshing. I haven't seen anything on my end.
Tulsa, always number 2. How about that?
Ooh.
Oh.
So we'll start with Rafa. You know, to me, at least for me, this is the preferred lineup for SAFC. Your thoughts on the lineups? Just to go over the changes from the last match against where did that page go? The last time we faced Tulsa, goalkeepers changed. St. Clair obviously got called back to Minnesota United. Montgomery's out, I think, with an injury, or at this point, because I think it was against Austin that he pulled up, came out, and then obviously Ballone's out and Pirano is in. So 3 changes from the last time that we faced Tulsa. I think the big one is seeing Gallegos up top, and then Pirano back in the middle for their here. Your thoughts on the lineup there, Rafa?
Should be, like I said, ready to go tonight. I mean, I like the lineup.
Let me interrupt you here, Rafa. The lineup for Tulsa: Sean Lewis, Matt Shelton, Bradley Barbaros, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, Kevin Garcia, Callan Chapman Page, Eric Bird, Lebo Maloto, Rodrigo da Costa, Rafael Agaga, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, Christian Altamirano, and Dario Suarez on there. So Brian and Bo, your initial thoughts on the lineups and any changes for Tulsa.
Bo, do you want to take the? I mean, there's an obvious one there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Chapman Page to start. What happened with Garcia? That's my first question. Maybe I guess we're looking to go probably switch between a 4 in the back to a 5 in the back with Chapman Page, and maybe put Eric Bird or Maloto in the back. But that's interesting. I'm pretty confident in Chapman Page, but it's just Garcia's been that other center back with Bourgeois in the back.
Garcia's back there with them. Chapman Page is in for Ariel Martinez, I believe.
Yeah, Martinez is a sub.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, Martinez, who was captain the last time. Yeah.
So on paper, it looks like a more defensive lineup, huh?
It does look like a more defensive lineup. Callum usually comes in as he's been used this season as a substitute to come in and kind of just clean things up at the end. He did that against St. Louis, I believe, and then also when we played RGV down in that 2 a.m. game. The without Ariel being in that lineup in the front end, I don't know, that might be fairly significant. He's vocal on the field. He is the emotion on the field. And
he's your captain, at least he was against San Antonio.
Yeah,
he was the captain today.
And Bradley's the co-captain normally, or vice captain. So today he's going to throw the band on, and he has stepped up in terms of being the voice of the team behind Ariel. So you guys, I don't know if you saw it. You could barely see it if you watched the replay of the game, but he had a pretty wickedly it was a great celebration when he got an assist and that Dario got the goal last game. So he's definitely stepping out and being a vocal part of the team. But I just think that Ariel is going to be a missed piece, at least the first half here, until we start doing subs around 60th, 65th minute.
Yeah. Another thing here was Christian Altamirano gets the start over Santos. So I think NCN is pretty confident. I mean, Altamirano, the last game against Austin Bold, he had some pretty good chances. So he'll make some runs in the box like Martinez usually does. So I'm pretty confident in him.
So, Bo, I think that Altamirano is actually leveling out when we're bringing in Callum Chapman Page here as a more of a defensive mindset, because Altamirano does tend to be a little bit more aggressive on the wing than Santos is. So that could be a little bit of the justification as what they're doing there, kind of leveling out the mentality. I personally think player to watch for the game in terms of what the difference maker is going to be. He doesn't get talked about a lot, but Kevin Garcia is 110% effort on that back line. And watch during this game, there's going to be some sort of a breakaway or something's going to happen, and Kevin is going to go to a level of speed that you don't even think he can do, and he's going to catch up to that person. It's going to happen. It happened in every single game up to this point, and Sheldon does the same thing.
So Royce or Rafa, I wouldn't say speed is a big part of our game outside of Prano, right? Soledad's not. Jose's fast, but he's quick, but I don't think he's fast. Like, from a movement to get some distance he is, but long term, I don't think he has that staying power. Is that fair?
I mean, a few points. Number one, this is Tulsa's 5th match in 21 days. This is San Antonio FC's 5th match in 14 days. So there's a fun comparison.
We're going into that.
Okay, well.
I'm saying our team is about to go into that. We've got 5 games in 12 days. Yeah.
Crunch time. Gotcha. Well, it's not fun. Let's see. What it seems like is maybe Tulsa's kind of giving it back to SAFC with not necessarily starting their best lineup away, giving Ariel Martinez a little rest. But I guess he made the road trip, and Prano just didn't make the road trip. So
Prano was there because I think it was Brian that sent me a picture.
Did.
Here's Prano, and I was like, oh hey, and then he's not in the lineup at all.
Yeah.
I will say the first time that San Antonio FC played Tulsa, Altamirano had a really good game as the outlet on the wing, and he got a lot of dribbling in. So I think it really is going to be more of a defensive lineup from Tulsa with Altamirano and I guess Suarez trying to attack and being that counter outlet. Try to go steal a goal at Tulsa. But you were talking about speed. Let me get on topic real quick. We have had pacey players, obviously Gordon, Forbes. We have had very, very pacey players. This season, it's more about connecting. We very much have a South American style team, and it's very much about passing. It's very much about what they call tiki-taka. Very much kind of in the Barcelona triangles. That's kind of what we have going on. And
so we're gonna start.
Rafa, what are your thoughts on speed?
Just wish we had faster forwards.
Faster forwards.
When they have size and they can push people around, but I wish they would do some wind sprints during practice or do some Tabata. Well, the thing is that they play a 3-5-2 hybrid 3-4-3, and I've coached in those two systems. And if you're playing a 3-5-2, you're supposed to overload one side, and then use your, and then cross over to the other side, to have 1v1s. I think our speed comes actually from Maloney and Smith on the wings, and so I think maybe that's why. You have a little kind of slow forwards up front, but still, it's nice to have one fast forward that can, if you get a breakaway, you're not going to catch up to him and puts that ball in the net. Yeah, take that Hail Mary pass and get it into the goal. So, I like to see them run a little bit more because, even wearing the little short shorts, they're helping it. So they need some more speed up front. But I guess as we get speed also from Pirano, PC's is like the Energizer Bunny everywhere. So he's the key to this whole thing too. I think he paces a lot of the attack for us when we're trying to get the goals up front.
So stop hating on my guy Dorenzo, dude. If you had legs like that, you'd wear shorts like that. I hear it.
So yeah, as we get close to, because we got about 10 minutes before we're gonna end up, so that way we got a half hour before game time. I'm going to start with Brian, then we'll go to Rafa, Royce, and then end up with Brian, Rafa, Bo, and then Royce. Keys to the match for you, and what do you want to see from your side, and what do you not want to see from the opposing side? Obviously, outside of wins or losses there.
3 points. That's what I want to see from my side.
Everybody wants to see 3 points.
Right. But besides that, keys of the game are going to be. how are we going to attack first half? Because I think even more so than what the starting lineup says, in my eyes, what the subs available say is even more speaks volumes here. We don't have Boyache didn't make the trip. It looks like Uzo didn't make the trip. Those are two offensive-minded players that Uzo usually comes in for Dario. So even the subs that are available, they're mids or defenders as their specialties. So I think that we're expecting a pretty heated match, and it's going to be emotional, I believe, as well. Kind of both teams are going to go at it with all they have, and I think that NCN's saving some of these subs so that they can have some strength at the end of the game to hold that lead we're going to have about probably the 40th minute. So,
Rafa, you're next.
The thoughts on this, we need to jump on them right away, just like the last game. Every time we get on in the lead, we take control, we win the game. Minus the first game, since we were just knocking off the rust. When we get behind, we get sloppy. We do a lot of mental mistakes. Luckily, we were, like I said last game with the bold. We were able to get one, in stoppage time. But that's the goal today: is to get ahead, get a lead. I know they're probably going to park the bus. If we get a goal or two, they're not going to be parking the bus. And as soon as open-eyed, kind of like Moses at the Red Sea, open the goals for us and start attacking and get some more goals in today. So that's the keys to this game. And then our defense needs to step it up too, not make any mental mistakes. And like I said, same thing with Cardone. He didn't play the first game, so I'm sure he's watched from the bench what needs to be done and who to watch out for shots outside.
Bo, you're next.
Well, looking at the actual formation of the lineup right now, it looks like we're lining up as 3 defenders, 5 mids, and then 2 up top. So that right away, I think the defense will obviously change throughout the game. So just keep an eye on that for Tulsa. 4 in the back, 5 in the back. But overall, I think besides the defense, I think what we need to focus on is just the wings. We've been so good at that, and not having Ariel or Marlon in the lineup. I think that's where we're going to have a special attack from maybe Altamirano or Aigawa possibly.
Yeah, Tulsa came with the attack the 210, so we'll see how. And we do defend 210. I guess you guys are doing attack the 210. So, Royce, before we head into the final predictions here, what's your keys and what do you think we will see tonight?
Keys for Tulsa is keep everybody off the board. Pretty obvious. They're not really going to go score goals. So the longer to the game without goals there is, the better it is for Tulsa. The quicker the goals, the better it is for SAFC. We'll see how it goes. It really looks like they are really going to defend back. But we said that exact same thing with the bold lineup. We said the same thing with the OKC Energy lineup last time. And it looked like they just try to press us in the midfield and really go. And with 5 in the middle, that's kind of what that's lining up to look like, is more of a pressing middle of the field, and then try to counter and go get a goal. For SAFC, obviously, it's to score early. What I would like to see is, like I said, last time we played Tulsa, all the forwards ended up kind of in the exact same area. I want to see them get more width, like they showed against OKC. I want to see Gallegos in that zone 13. I want to see Perano in that 15. And Soniak in that 14 attacking, so we get a nice spread, especially if they have 3 in the back. There's going to be gaps in channels out wide to go pass in, and I think we can find some joy over there.
Predictions. We'll start with you, Rafa, here. What's your prediction for tonight?
It'll be a close game, but we're going to get the win. We'll get I predict a 2-1 win.
2-1. For you, Brian?
I'm going the exact opposite. I think my first game prediction was 2-1, and I think that's what it's going to be on the Tulsa side this time.
You, Royce?
4-0 SAFC.
Ooh,
jeez.
Wow, that actually hurt a little bit just now.
Hope so.
Gosh.
Bo, you get to follow that.
I think both sides will score some goals. I think it'll be 3-2 Tulsa.
I've got it 2-0. I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals, but I do think the first team that scores first, which will be San Antonio, they'll get probably one in the first half, and then they'll get one late in the second half where they'll catch Tulsa pressing up. I think it'll be 2-0. For that here, just from how you guys are talking about here, I think Tulsa's, left some of their attack back in Tulsa to kind of circle back to the beginning. I hate to say this, but it seems like Tulsa's a little bit scared of San Antonio by leaving the attack back at home. Just saying.
Yeah, instead of attack 2-1-0, they're more like, let's go in cautiously to 2-1-0. That's kind of what it seems like.
You guys are forgetting that the back three that we have, Sheldon, Garcia, and the
other guy that's going to let 4 goals.
The other guy.
No. and Bourgeois. I was thinking Bradley, but I wanted to say Bourgeois. So
some random guy off the street we pulled out.
So Sheldon, Bourgeois, and Garcia are good enough to hold you guys as forwards at bay. So you're 4-1. Yeah,
4-0.
But the key is
4-0.
4-0.
It's gonna be a shutout.
He's gonna be Pirano. Pirano's the missing ingredient.
We are not Oklahoma City. We are not. We are the better part of the state. All right.
What I will say is that Pirano seemed really frustrated to not have the team leading goals anymore. So
Pirano's been doing the tango on everyone.
So you guys have played Oklahoma City. It was a 1-1 draw. We played Oklahoma City twice, 7-0. So that there we go, buddy.
We like the time.
Well, I'm going to defend that. When it was 1-1, that was when it was like just starting, like getting back into the soccer rhythm. Now it's like we're in the rhythm now. So I think it's going to be close.
Yep, your 3 smiles are going to be pretty frowny when this game's over.
So we'll have to do this again. I think in September, late September, towards the end of the season, or once San Antonio has first place already locked up, and most likely you guys are going to have second place locked up, I think. We'll have to do this again here. But final thoughts, can be soccer related, not soccer related, anything along those lines here. We'll start with Royce, then go to Bo, Rafa, and then end up with Brian. So what's your final thought here, Royce?
Just as far as the show's going, this is great. We need to do this more, integrating. I like this. This is fun. Appreciate it, guys.
Bo?
Yeah, this was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you. A little nervous at first, I'll admit it, but overall, just coming on, stepping in with I like the USL environment overall. It's really just fun to be. I feel like USL fans are more engaged, and that's what I love about just watching Tulsa or interacting with you guys as well. So that's my big thing. And then lastly was I do agree Bayern's going to win on.
I forgot to do that.
So that's it.
I failed as a host. Even had that on my little checklist here.
Final thought.
Rafa, your turn.
Final thought. Let's say. Well, looking forward for tomorrow's Champions League final. Even though I'm a Real Madrid fan, but I think Bayern. But Scott took me to Bayern party last year, so a little hard of me goes with Bayern. So I go. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I can see a 4-3 or 5-4 game, but it's going to be Bayern close.
Yeah, Bayern ball.
But then Real Madrid is going to win it next year. So enjoy Bayern.
Yeah, I've got 2 final thoughts. So Real Madrid might win something next year, but it's going to be the European Championship because that always seems to land in Spain, as Sevilla just said.
I'm about to say Sevilla's going to win it next year. Let's get real.
There's no way they're going to win the Champions League is all I'm saying. And then my second thought is I'm really glad you guys got some great spices down in South Texas because you're going to need to put them on your foot when you're eating it after this game.
So my final thought here, number one, thank you to Scissor Tail Nation podcast. If you haven't followed them, please do. Like I said here, despite some cold takes, I guess we'll give them that. It is a great show and a good follow up. Not only they do Tulsa, but at the beginning of the show they'll talk about jogging, biking, or golfing, or some random thing that they're doing. Then they go into the schedule, the USL overall to kind of give a feedback on it. Like most of us, we have zero clue what's going on in the JV conference in the East. For that, but both of you, Bro and Brian, thanks for coming on. It was awesome. My second thought, and it's been mine for all this week here with school coming back, please make sure you're watching out for school buses and kids and stuff like that. School zones, like
School zones are live. School zones are live. School zones are live.
And you sound like you're speaking from experience there.
I'm not, but I'm not saying yes or no that I may have sped through a school zone and then saw that they were live and kind of so, but slow down to school zones. There's
slow down, watch out for kids and stuff. It's that time of year, and I know it's kind of a unique time with COVID and stuff, but thank you for joining us. I said we wanted to get out by 7:30 at 7:30, so Scott, you need to pull the plug and we need to get out of here.